It takes a tenacious heart to survive in the Yukon and other high-latitude places. Food is a reward for the brave and the bold when temperatures drop below zero. The Wolverine is a small creature with a big appetite and an even bigger attitude. But it's not the size of the Wolverine in the fight, but the size of the fight in the Wolverine that matters in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, would you kindly search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify?
And a very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on. If you'd like to donate, just visit patreon.com/LDTaxonomy or click on donate on our website.
And today we're talking about an animal so cool they named an X-Man after it.
Yeah, we're talking about the one, the only, the Hugh Jackman.
The Hugh Jackman.
The Wolverine.
Yeah. This was a suggestion from a Spotify. No, it was either on Spotify or Patreon. I can't remember. Or YouTube. I can't remember. But it was it was on YouTube. Say Snoobs. No. Say Snoobes.
Okay,
What's
Six Noobs.
Nubes in Spanish?
I think Cloud.
Yeah, 6 clouds. Seis Nubes. On YouTube. Thank you for the suggestion.
Fairly certain it's Cloud.
I know, now that you say that, I did look it up when I wrote down. Making sure, I wanted to make sure that this wasn't foul. Like it wasn't some other bad word in another language. Although 6 clouds could be a euphemism for something bad, who knows?
Somebody does.
I'm surprised we have not done this one yet, but here we go. We're doing it now.
Well, we don't share notes, so I'm interested to see what the superpower is. I think that's why we didn't do it, because it wasn't an obvious, like, this thing has this really super unique trait. We've already done the honey badger, which is a similar animal that is nuts.
Mm-hmm. It's similarly nuts.
So, but yeah, it's the Wolverine. It's actually got a lot of names. I went to town with these names. It's called the Carcajou. It's called the Quick Hatch. And it's also called the Quiquahachu, which is how you call it in Cree, which is not just the blue people in Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a Native American tribe. But we're going to call it here the Doom Weasel, the Danger Cat, and Logan's Heroes.
Nice. Logan's Leros.
Because it wants to lower your defense. Let's taxonomize this. It's in a kingdom you know, love, and are in. That kingdom is Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. The subphylum, Vertebrata. We're throwing a subphylum in there. The class is Mammalia. The order is Carnivora. The family is Mustelidae. So it's a mustelid, which goes with badgers and weasels. And the subfamily is Guloninae. The genus is Gulo, and the species is Gulo. Gulo. And Since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show and the listener's favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that is, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature, which in this case is gulo gulo. What does that mean? It sounds like something that if you were playing like a Zelda game and you walked up to or like Final Fantasy, like one of those anime things, and then you go up to like a little creature, it would just say gulo gulo at you.
It does sound like that.
That's what the subtitles would read. And you would just be like, what? Excuse me? Expand my inventory slots, please. But anyway, so what does it mean in English? What does gulo gulo mean in English? Does it mean A, weasel weasel, B, angry angry, C, glutton glutton, or D, north north?
Glutton glutton, final answer.
You are correct. I should have known that you already knew the answer to that.
I already knew the reputation because it has to do with the major fact.
Yeah, it's interesting. Are you going to go into the etymology of this, or how the name is changed?
No.
Okay, so it's also it's got a bunch of names from different languages. It's called the Ama in Finnish, which means glutton. It's called the Rozomak in Czech, Polish, and Hungarian, which means gluttonous badger. And it's called glouton in French, which can you imagine what that means? And then, but in Finnish, it's called fjällfros, which means mountain cat.
Okay.
But in German, the German word fjällfros means devours a lot, like a glutton.
Okay.
So the thinking is that like the Finnish called it a mountain cat, and the Germans were like, "You're calling that thing a glutton," and now it's a glutton. It's spelled completely differently in German, obviously. Like Viel Frau with like the weird big B thing.
So you're saying it's like a misunderstanding?
Right. So the Finnish are calling, like, they're saying, "Look at this mountain cat. Look at this Fjällfros." And Germans are like, Fjällfros? That's... Why are you calling it a gluttonous... something that devours a lot? All right, well, it's something that devours a lot, I guess. And...
Well, it does devour a lot. We'll talk about that later. Well, that's interesting.
But yeah, there's...
could it have gone the other way? Could
the Germans called it something that devours a lot, and the Finnish were like, "That sounds like mountain cat."
Yeah.
I mean, I guess both are descriptive of it.
Vaguely.
Mountain cat is rough, though. You got to come up with something better than mountain cat. But I mean, we have mountain lions, so who are we to judge? Let's talk about what the Wolverine looks like. It is mostly badger, like weasel kind of thing, but it has a lot of bear characteristics, like grizzly bear, in the way that it's in its fur, it's short, like round ears, but it's kind of like a weasel, badger, bear mixed together. It's pretty small, obviously not as big as a bear. But it's got this stocky, low to the ground body. It's got very low center of gravity, which is important for the things it attempts to do. It has this thick, shaggy, dark brown fur with black on the face and paws and tail. Sometimes has stripes on the side. Lighter tan or gold stripes. It has a blunt snout and these tiny eyes, weasel eyes, short and very powerful legs, oversized paws, with semi-retractable claws, which is something that they did not do for the X-Men. It's like, imagine if it was just semi-retractable. Like, what's the point? He's just always has like an inch of his knuckle bones sticking out. It's like I can't turn it off.
Which means they can lift it off the ground so it doesn't like dull, but it doesn't go all the way in like a cat.
Right. Yeah. And has a big bushy tail. But like I said, it's not. It has bear characteristics, but it's definitely not as big as a bear. It is bigger than your average weasel for sure, though. But how big is it, Joe?
Great question. Welcome to the Love Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal's size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week. But that means you get to hear from an animal. Carlos has to guess what it is. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. Do you know who that is? That's Wolverine.
Is it Wolverine? Is it the Wolverine?
Yeah, and it's the episode where he like reads psalms in a church after Nightcrawler witnesses to him. He's struggling spiritually.
Well, that's wild. That
I know,
happens?
right? Yeah, it does. Isn't that interesting? That's in the 1990s X-Men cartoon.
The character that looks the most like the prototypical devil witnesses to Wolverine.
He is notoriously Catholic, Nightcrawler.
I think I think I knew that. I've never been a big X-Men fan, so I just like kind of just sat there. But yeah, I think I remember that from the movies.
Yeah,
Fox movies.
That's true. Let's first of all, we have a comment on Spotify from Spamton G. Spamton. Isn't that great? I love the show. It always brings me joy, and I can now act like I have more than one brain cell by reciting cool animal facts. I responded, that's what we do every episode.
Yeah. Well, I have one, and you have one, and so that allows us to get these animal facts together. And so that and everyone else can have two.
Yeah, exactly. We impart two more. That's how you learn something. You get a new brain cell. That's how it works.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's try this again. We did it last time. We'll try it again. The true or false streamlined lean version of Measure Up, where we get to learn a little bit more about something from where this animal comes from, and we don't have to spend a million years doing math. The Alaskan king. Oh, first of all, the Wolverine is 26 to 34 inches, excluding the tail. The tail doesn't add that much, but we'll go with 34 inches. The Alaskan king salmon, also known as the Chinook salmon, is the largest species of Pacific salmon and is prized for its size, strength, and rich flavor. True or false, the Alaskan king salmon is around the same length as a Wolverine. Medium-sized, dog-sized.
Yes. So true.
Final answer, true?
Yeah.
The correct answer is true. It's 30 to 40 inches.
It's about a yard.
It's also up to 50 pounds. A 50-pound salmon. A salmon the size of a big dog. You never know how big a fish is, you know? Like tuna.
Like tuna being like 800 pounds.
There, last week or the week before, there was a single tuna, huge fish, sold for millions of dollars. to a sushi restaurant.
Why?
It was a bidding thing, so it was like auctioned. I don't know specifically why this fish went for so much, and it was sold to restaurants. The meat was sold to restaurants to be sold at normal prices.
Right, exactly. It like if I can see like a rich person spending that much on the living fish and keeping
Right.
it in like a whale shark like aquarium in their mansion, but like you
Yeah.
what's the difference between that and just also having like a bunch of smaller tuna that equal the same amount of meat?
The I guess the fact that I don't know, maybe the larger it's $3.2 million it was sold for
Ridiculous.
at a Tokyo in Tokyo. It's a bluefin tuna. It was the winning bid in a auction, and it came from a corporation that owns popular sushi chain Sushi Zanmai.
But
Okay, so the first year's first tuna brings good luck, said the company's president.
So it's superstition.
So you want that tuna to be the best. It can't just be superstition.
So the first tuna is the biggest tuna. Like, this is going to be the best year ever.
Well, we'll see. I hope it works out for them. Anyway,
there's no way they made any sort of return on that investment.
I mean, they had a lot of publicity.
I guess maybe.
Maybe a lot of people went to those restaurants to see if they could get a bite of that expensive fish.
If salmon are like 50 pounds, though, can you imagine just like being a bear and trying to catch salmon that are jumping upstream, and this 50-pound fish hits you in the face?
Oh yeah.
I guess you're a bear. You can take it a little bit more than a person would, but still.
Speaking of 50 pounds, Wolverines weigh between 20 and 55 pounds, with males being the heavier between the males and females. Tlingit, yeah, I think that's how you would say that. Tlingit, which is a native Southeast Alaskan word. Tlingit bentwood chests are crafted by the Tlingit people of Southeast Alaska. Master artisans craft them from a single plank of red wood or yellow cedar and use them to store ceremonial regalia, food, blankets, or even in burial. So, true or false, 2 Tlingit boxes weigh the same as a Wolverine at 55 pounds.
No, false.
False? What do you think it is?
I think it's heavier than a Wolverine. Because it's carved from a solid hunk of wood, and it can hold regalia. Like a whole set of like ceremonial clothes. So it's got to be decently sized. And if it's carved from a single hunk of wood, it probably weighs more than 50 pounds. That's my guess.
Final answer?
Yes.
Correct answer is false. It's about 50 pounds, the box. So it's one Wolverine's.
Oh.
Yeah. You are 100%.
I'm on the right track.
You are on 100% run with this new true or false measure up.
And I used, in the past, in the first iteration measure up, I had to use estimation and head math. And then in the second iteration, I guessed into the blue with like the thing with the three options. But now I'm using this is a good little mix.
It could be good as long as there's a way to make it not 100% all the time. If it's not too easy, then it's the right amount of thinking. It's the right amount of thinking. It's not too much that it's boring to hear you do math. It's not so little that it's arbitrary and meaningless. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, it's this is reasonable.
Reasonable.
I I use logic or reason to come to the conclusions. That
I
was
didn't
right on
even
both
think
accounts.
about the word regalia, but yeah, you're right. Regalia doesn't mean just like a hat.
A jewelry box or something like
Yeah,
that.
it means
Yeah.
like like vestments.
Yeah.
Um, all right, cool.
All right. You ready for some fast facts before we get to the major fact?
I am.
All right. The Wolverine is found across the cold, remote parts of the northern hemisphere, all the way from Alaska and Canada, all the way to Siberia, Scandinavia. It's all across northern Russia, Finland, Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Canada, and Alaska. All those great places that are cold a lot and very cold. They like these boreal forests, the tundra. They like mountains. They like hostile environments, and for neighbors to be far away. Like the people that live there. they like the hostile environments, and they like their space. You don't live in Siberia or Alaska because you're gregarious. You live there because you wanna brave the elements on your own.
True.
That's not necessarily true. It is true if you live out in the bush. Obviously, there are cities there where people live together, but if you live in the northern parts of any of these countries, you're in it to win it. The Wolverine is an opportunistic carnivore that eats all kinds of mammals, birds, berries. It eats carrion. It eats anything that can be killed, foraged, bullied from, or just straight up stolen.
Like a bear.
Yeah, or like a hyena. No, I mean no. Not like a hyena. Hyenas are strict carnivores. Although this is a carnivore. It's an order Carnivora, but it'll eat berries. I don't know how much you want to get into hunting.
Let's just save it, and you could fill in the gaps if I miss whatever you were gonna say.
Okay. So Wolverines mate in the summer, but they practice something called delayed implantation, which means that embryos fertilized eggs wait for months until the early spring to implant in the uterine wall before developing, so that the cubs have the best chance of survival. Which I thought about and was like, that makes a lot of sense, because most mammals hibernate, and they awaken in the spring. And then, they have a very limited amount of time to mate and then gestate. And then the cubs are born, right before winter starts. That's terrible. In this case, the cubs are instead born, or they start developing in late winter, early spring, so that by mid-spring the cubs are born, and they can have the whole summer to eat and fatten up, and they have the best chance of surviving the following winter. And plus, females can reabsorb embryos if food is scarce. So if the body says hey, you're not getting a lot of food, those embryos will be reabsorbed so that resources aren't dedicated to having offspring that are going to die. Pretty efficient system. Brutally efficient, as nature often is. They live for about 7 to 12 years in the wild. They live longer in captivity because they may not be living a life that is not constantly choosing violence. They are mostly solitary. They are aggressively territorial. And I don't know if you've ever heard one of these things make sounds, but it is rage incarnate.
Really?
It is its normal sounds is two pit bulls fighting or something. It's guttural. It sounds like a monster. It sounds like a monster. It doesn't even. I mean, it doesn't even sound like dogs fighting because that's a very distinct sound. But there's like these gurgles and hisses and snarls, all in this.
It's like a pug.
Low guttural growl. Nothing like a pug.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's so threatening. It's so aggressive. This is what I imagine like a mythical like Game of Thrones dire wolf would sound like. So they don't really have to worry about predators for reasons that will probably be expanded on. But wolves and bears will occasionally try. The key word there is try. And it's almost always on the young. A full-grown Wolverine is pretty safe. They have extremely strong jaws. Some of the strongest jaws per for their bone density, I believe, or their bone structure, of all mammals. And they have teeth that are capable of crushing frozen bones.
Yeah.
They are nature's garbage disposal. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm calling this the boom and bust weasel. They have the reputation for being gluttons, and they also have another reputation for taking down huge prey. We'll talk about the veracity of both of those claims. Wolverines are built for boom and bust scenarios. They live in cold, remote regions where food is unpredictable, especially in the wintertime. So their appetite and behavior is designed around exploiting rare opportunities. They can consume 20 to 30% of their body weight in a single feeding. They can go without food and then gorge when something is becoming available. And their metabolism...
Can you imagine eating 20% of your body weight?
What's 20% of 50?
I mean, for that, I mean, the 20% of 50 was what, like 15?
Eating 15 pounds of, as a human, eating 15 pounds of something would be wild.
No, it's 10. Sorry, it's 10.
Same. 10 pounds in a day?
10 pounds. Yeah, if you just ate 10 pounds in a day,
but what if you were only 50 pounds?
But what if... So what? Yeah, I weigh 185. So what would 20% of that be? Like, almost like 35 pounds, 36 pounds of food. Holy moly!
Yeah, 37. Yeah.
That is. Although I imagine that like Kobayashi eats 30 pounds of food every time he goes.
Does he?
I don't know how much those hot dogs weigh.
I would think that's closer to 10.
They dip them in water. Water's heavy.
True.
Anyway.
And their metabolism supports extreme binge feeding, not constant eating. They're not grazers. They're in that starvation diet. Wolverines are specialized for carrion. They're among the best cold climate scavengers, and like you said, they have super strong jaws. They can crush frozen meat and even bones. And they open carcasses that foxes, coyotes, and birds can't. Imagine that. You're in the winter. You come across a preserved carcass that you can't get into because it's too frozen solid. But a Wolverine comes around.
That's when you get on you sink to your knees and do a long Darth Vader no.
But all you need is a Wolverine to come, eat its fill, take its 15 pounds of flesh, and
crack that egg,
and then crack that egg.
It's disgusting.
They often rely on kills made by wolves or bears, especially in the winter. They frequently cache food, dragging chunks away and storing them under the snow, where the cold preserves them for weeks or even months. So they keep refrigerators of food they can snack on whenever they want, like me and frozen grapes in the freezer.
That's a good idea.
I love frozen grapes in the freezer. I like them outside the freezer, but they don't stay frozen, unfortunately.
Do you go into the freezer with them and eat them? You just only like them in the freezer?
I like them on a train. I like them.
Yeah. I could not in a freezer.
Yeah. They frequently they cache the food. Despite the legends, though, wolverines do not regularly hunt are animals that are much larger than they are. But they can and have killed huge prey animals. So what are we talking about when it comes to large? So they're 55 pounds, but they've been documented killing adult reindeer and caribou, moose calves, and deer. Things that, like, wolves use the pack to bring down. They've taken down.
That's crazy.
But
you can't even like
picture it.
Yeah, it's just like this thing flying at you and just getting your jugular, and then it's like, okay, well,
so
you did it.
I mean, these events are super uncommon and highly situational. So it's not. So we'll talk about how do they do this. When wolverines manage to bring down large prey, they rely less on just raw, tiny strength and more on environmental advantages and just straight up persistence. So in deep, soft snow, their wide paws function like snowshoes, allowing them to move more efficiently, like Legolas on the snow. Mm-hmm. Long-legged ungulates sink and struggle in the snow, and they tire pretty quickly when they're being dogged chased by a predator. The wolverine exploits this by relentlessly harassing and pursuing that animal until it's exhausted. Rather than targeting healthy adults in their prime, ready to go, they focus on vulnerable individuals like starving or injured or young. And they, or something that's trapped in the snow or in the ice or in steep terrain. So they'll chase something through the snow, and they'll be able to walk on the snow way easier, run for long distances on the snow, until something is just so tired that they can't fight back much. So once they're close enough, the wolverine will attack the throat, neck, face, or, like you said, the jugular, using its powerful jaws to crush the trachea or the cervical vertebrae, and is notorious for its tenacity in refusing to let go until the animal is incapacitated. So it's got a little bit of that honey badger in him. That unwillingness to just like let things go.
It holds a grudge. And your jugular. Yes.
There is a video, I believe. I don't know. I saw it a long time ago. It's not AI. It's old, but I think it's real. Where you like somebody is taking a video from a distance. Yeah, I think it's real. A wolverine is just latched onto a deer's head, and the deer is trying to shake it off, but it's just latched on and won't let go.
It's so sad that we live in a world where every video is just like, I think it's real.
Well, this is old. This is 8 years ago, so it's not AI. The video is incredible. Like, he shakes it off and immediately runs back and jumps back on. It would stink to be this, like, this is like a caribou or something in the video.
But imagine the caribou just like angling its antlers and just clocking.
I mean, it's
cleaning that thing's clock.
It's trying, but it's like it's quite literally a blizzard. So it is struggling. Very interesting video. I hope it's real. So the other way it eats large amounts of food is by stealing from bigger animals. So one of the wolverine's most remarkable abilities is not killing its own prey, but taking it from bigger predators. Wolverines are known to displace wolves, lynx, and even bears from their kills through a combination of aggressive displays, relentless harassment, and extraordinary willingness to confront animals larger than themselves. Their success in these encounters is aided by super thick, dense fur and a high tolerance for pain, like the honey badger, which makes them difficult to injure quickly and drive off. So it's just more persistent, and it's more persistent, and a more thoughtful predator is just going to be like, nah, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Yeah. The Wolverine's like, it's always worth it.
Yeah. It's not so much that they could take down a bear. It's more that the bear has a cooler head that prevails. Or
yeah, and the honey badger I remember has like its skin.
Yeah.
Its top layer of skin is like
loose,
not attached to the rest.
Yeah.
Or like, so it's you can't really get a good grip on it. It's like holding one of those those gelatin toys, those
that invert, and they like
that's those tubes that like invert in on themselves, or you can't hold it because it's all loose.
Yeah,
but it's like one of those toys that's made out of spikes and hate, and is actively trying to kill you. So.
Exactly. So yeah, like if you grab it feels like if you grabbed it by the back of the neck, it could still bite you.
Yeah, it just turns, like flips its skeleton around in your hand. It bites your hand.
So yeah, they can punch above their weight. And they've got the jaw strength to make it a bad time for whatever it bites. And it also, like a bear, has very muscular neck and shoulders for like latching onto something that is desperately trying to like fling it off, or for dragging heavy carcasses. So they got those thick muscular necks. And they can travel 15 to 25 miles in a day. So if they're chasing something, it's going to gas out before the Wolverine does. 25 miles through the snow, uphill both ways. And they've got that fearless temperament. They'd rather escalate than retreat.
Wolverines. Why did they call themselves the Wolverines when they were fighting the Russians? The Russians should have been the Wolverines.
Why?
Because that's where the Wolverines live.
They live in Alaska and Canada.
Yeah, but like, where were they invading in Red Dawn? Like suburbia.
I don't know. The desert.
Yeah, there was. It wasn't.
Yeah, like California.
It was like, if one team's gonna be the Wolverines, it's probably gonna be the invading Russians in that one. But
Russians always personify themselves as bears, though.
Bears, yeah, they're gonna pick one. And clearly bear versus Wolverine. Wolverine wins. So, I mean, I bet you bear wins in an actual fight, but
yeah,
there's the animals also have a psychological element, and the bear's just like, I don't feel like getting bit today, and the Wolverine's like, I don't care what happens.
It's the same reason humans encounter bears and live to tell the tale. It's because the bear doesn't know that it would be easy to eat that thing.
Like, you're really not going to do all that much, but I'm just going to go ahead and classify this as not worth it. I'm going to go eat some berries. Berries are totally
I don't like the way he's
it.
walking. I don't like the way he's standing. I don't like the fact that he's got clothes. What's that?
I mean, I can stand like that too, but I can't have clothes.
Yeah. All right. That's all I've got.
All right. Yeah. And then the only thing I had on the hunting was that they chase off larger animals from their own kills. They're tenacious. All right, so that's the Wolverine. for you out there in podcasts. Be a loner. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. And fill your role as the wilderness's tenacious garbage disposal, like the Wolverine, here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we have a Patreon that you can find by going to ldtaxonomy.com/donate. All of our episodes are uploaded there. Sign up for free to engage with us, leave episode suggestions, or chat with other animal enthusiasts. If you find it in your heart to donate, it will help us cover some costs and continue to make the show. Plus, we'll thank you every week. Most importantly, thank you all for listening.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Yeah.